Coming up in this episode, we have Chris Hill signing a new deal at Giants, and the Indigenous round continues, and we bring you the scores and scores. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel NRL Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to continue seeing more. So, we have a lot of rugby league information for you today, and in today's episode of NRL Dominance, we first come to the story of Chris Hill, who's decided to go on in rugby league after agreeing a 2-year deal and thrashing it out with Huddersfield Giants. Don't get me wrong, there has been no talk of Hill retiring, but at the age of 35, he's definitely in the twilight of his career. The towering prop joined the club after being released from Warrington Wolves in 2021 and has gone on to make 29 appearances for the Claret and Gold so far. Hill is one of the most experienced props in the game and is a huge asset to the Giants, with countless Challenge Cup appearances and joining fellow forward Matty English in securing a future at the Huddersfield Giants. After making 296 appearances for Warrington Wolves, Chris joined the Giants ahead of the 2022 season and led the club to its first Challenge Cup finals appearance since 2009 and the first playoff berth since 2015. Being an international forward, was also selected in Sean Wayne's side and competed in the 2021 Rugby League World Cup after an impressive 2022 season. Chris Hill commented on cementing his future at the John Smith Stadium for an extra 2 years. I'm buzzing. I've come here at the late end of my career and it's given me a real boost. I want to repay that bit of faith back to Ken, the board and Watto. So now I'm delighted to stay here and of course see out my career here. So that's the sign of this is possibly the final contract that Chris Hill is going to sign. It depends on how he feels at the end of his 2 years with Huddersfield and as well during. So it's kind of coming to an end of Chris Hill's rugby league career. But now that's what he's intimating. Whether it is or not is another fact of the matter. Anyway, speaking of the deal as well, Giants managing director Richard Thulis said the agreement with Chris was one based on honesty and trust, and when he said he wants to stay here and achieve his goals and medals in the Claret and Gold, then that's an easy one for us to buy into and agree as a club. Ian will talk, I'm sure, about his undoubted abilities as a player and one who stands out in the World Cup. But of equal importance are the standards he set as a professional professional prop forward day in, day out, who is still at the top of his game. We have a number of young players in and around Chris, and he sets a great example as a leader and one who is rightly looked up to in our group as a man to be followed as well. There are reasons why Chris has and continues to have the career he does, which sets a great example for us all to follow. This, in short, is excellent news for our club's short, medium and long-term aspirations. There is no comment yet from Ian Watson in regards to his big forward signing a new contract, but I'm sure he's clearly delighted that one of his leaders is keeping with the club for another 2 years, at the very least. I foresee that he'll become part of the Giants' backroom staff, but we'll have to see how well he goes in the next couple of years. Just a little bit of news, the Huddersfield Giants have attempted to beat their attendance record that was set against Leeds back in the day for the the bank holiday game against Leeds in August. They are doing a promotion at the moment for that 25th of August game against Leeds Rhinos, where the core stand lower will see adults tickets as low as £5 per ticket. Don't know about you, but if you're a Huddersfield Giants fan, even in casual, you should go down and watch them. Go and beat that record. You don't know what's happening in the league at that time. You may have got in when the season gets good for Huddersfield. Next comes our results service, as we're a little bit of a day late for the NRL, and we're going to cover the NRL with the 3 days of games that have been played so far, starting with the Thursday night game. The start of the NRL Indigenous round saw the Penrith Panthers beat the Brisbane Broncos 15 points to 4 in what was really a good game. It was more for one of a purist. The Brisbane Broncos only had 4 points to their name, and that came as a try from Selwyn Cobbo. For the Penrith Panthers, there was Sunaya Taruva and Nathan Cleary to thank for their tries. It was a 8-0 half-time scoreline, as a penalty and the conversion of Taruva's try were the only points scored by Penrith Panthers in the first half. The Cleary's second conversion and a drop goal right on the buzzer meant that the Panthers came away with the 2 points. Brisbane remained top of the table, but only just at this point. But then we move on to Friday's games, and it's the Dragons that came away in the opening game 24 points to 22 victors over the Sydney Roosters. There is a little bit of controversy about this game, and we'll come to that a little bit further on. But Dragons went away with the 2 points, and coach Ryan Carr, interim coach should I say, was absolutely ecstatic by the last minute victory. Moses Suley scored on the 7th minute, and this was followed up by Ben Hunt for the Dragons going into half time to give a 12-0 lead due to Zach Lomax converting both tries. But there were 3 tries in 11 minutes from the Roosters to put an edge to the game. James Tedesco and 2 from Luke Keary gave the lead back to the Roosters. Well, almost the lead back to the Roosters, as Jaden Sewer scored on the 72nd minute. Zach Lomax was unsuccessful with the kicks, and Suwali got those two of those 3 tries converted. But James Tedesco got his second of the game to make it a nervy last 5 minutes, and the Roosters the lead outright. Suwali even converted the second Tedesco try. But it wasn't until the 79th minute when Dragons tied up the game, and Matthew Fagia scored on the 79th minute. Zach Lomax added the 2 points and had a penalty in the 47th minute to complete the scoring at the close win in the Dragons' name. But it looks like Sydney Roosters enforcer Victor Radley will face up to 4 weeks on the sidelines for an alleged headbutt in the melee that sparked a head slam on James Tedesco. In the 16th minute, the Dragons were leading the Roosters 12-0, and Zach Lomax was penalised for a head slam action on Tedesco while trying to strip the ball. Radley took exception to the tackle on Tedesco and confronted Lomax, first of all grabbing him on the throat area, and an all-in scuffle occurred, but Radley wasn't sin-binned for the act. However, he's since been hit with a Grade 1 striking offence. Radley will be absent for 3 games should he take an early guilty plea, but if he chooses to fight the charge and found guilty, could miss 4. That second game was the South Sydney Rabbitohs versus the Parramatta Eels, and it was the Eels that came away 36 points to 16 victors over Souths. A Mitchell Moses inspired Eels, after Moses had agreed to that new deal for the Eels earlier this week, saw them over the line. Started off well as well, with Sean Russell went over on the 2nd minute, but Alex Johnson responded for the Bunnies on the 7th minute. Bailey Simonson's converted try on the 26th minute gave the leads back to the Eels, but Alex Johnson went over for a second try. Unlike his first try of the game, this was converted by Latrell Mitchell. In the second half, it was the Bunnies that grabbed the lead as Campbell Graham went over in the 47th minute, with Mitchell converting his second. But that's all it wrote. That's all that wrote for the Parramatta Eels. As Bryce Cartwright, Bailey Simonson, Dylan Brown, and Will Penasini went over for 4 unanswered tries in the second half. Mitchell Moses converted all 6 of the conversions on the day for that comprehensive victory for the Eels. And with that, we turn to Saturday's games, as there's 3 games that came to us on this NRL Indigenous round, and they have all just finished. First of all, we look at Cronulla Sharks versus the Knights. And it's the Knights who were defeated by Cronulla Sharks, which meant that the Sharks are now tied for top place with the Brisbane Broncos. Will Kennedy opened the scoring on the 6th minute, which was responded to by Kalen Ponga on the 19th minute. Ronaldo Mulatalo gave the lead back to the Sharks with a try of his own on the 26th minute, and at half-time it was 12 points to 6, with Nico Hines converting the 2 tries and Lachlan Miller converting the Ponga try on his return to the Cronulla Sharks base. 2 more tries in the second half from Connor Tracy and 2 from Royce Hunt. That means he also scored last week. Gave the win to the Sharks. Hines kicked the 2 conversions and a penalty goal on the 55th minute to give the victory to the Sharks. But the second game was an absolute decimation for the Cowboys, as West Tigers came away with a victory, 66 points to 18. It was 11 tries and 11 conversions for the West's men, as they ran riot over a Cowboys team that have not looked their best. Stefano Uikatamanu went over on the 5th minute for the opening try, which was followed up by Junior Tupou and David Nufaluma's tries on the 9th and 17th minute. Cal Felt then got a drive back for the Cowboys, but the damage was being done as Jermaine Buller went over on the 39th minute, with tries all being converted for a 24 points to 6 half-time lead to the West. Brandon Wakeham kicked 4 from 4 in the first half, while Valentine Holmes got the 1 conversion in the first half for the Cowboys. Further tries for Noah Pole, Junior Tupou with his 2nd try, and then a double from the Stafford Toto was sandwiching Luciano Leilua and Ruben Cotter's tries for the Cowboys. The tries just kept coming for West though, as they never gave up, as Joe Hangawi went over on the 69th minute before Nufaluma got his 2nd, and John Bateman got his 1st try for the Wests. 2 conversions from 2 in the second half for Valentine Holmes saw the total points of the Cowboys up to 18, but Brandon Wakeham kicked another 4 goals before Luke Brooks converted the Offa Hengawi try, and Api Coruscant converted 2 tries, the Nufaluma and Bateman's try, to close out the game. West Tigers with another good win, 66 points to 18. And the final game of Saturday saw the Melbourne Storm come away with a victory, 28 points to 16 over the Dolphins. It was Will Warbrick who got the ball rolling before Jermaine Zarko got his 1st try of the game. Cameron Munster came back in the first half with a 16th minute try as the game took a turn towards the Storm, as the half closed out with Elise Katoa and Remy Smith all going over for tries. All 4 of those tries were converted by Nick Meaney, but the game had actually started off with a Felice Kafusi swinging arm, seeing him going to the sin bin. Probably will have to sit down for a few games as he were placed on report as well. There was no further point scoring in the second half for the Storm, as they led 24 points to 4 as the teams returned to the sheds. But Jermaine Izako and Cody Nikarima, with Jermaine Izako converting both tries, scored for the Dolphins. But it wasn't enough, and the Storm came away with the 2 points, 24 points to 16. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking on that notification bell for any updates or new videos that may be coming your way in the near future. Tell me what your thoughts are on today's episode in the comment section below, as there's a lot to go through, as there were 6 games, 5 games. That was right, 6 games first of all from the NRL, and Chris Hill signing that new deal. Which is the more important for the clubs? Do you think West Tigers winning 66 is the best result of the weekend? Or do you think that was just because the Cowboys are in a slump at this moment in time? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. And I'll end the episode as I always do by wishing you all the very best. So please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.